Hey guys, welcome back to Into the Pit. I'm Hellhound.
I'm Dr. Guts.
And last time, this is the continuation of our top 10 metal albums video, and we already did our 6 through 10 in our last video, so check that out if you haven't already. Now we're going to talk about our top 5. Alright, so my number 5 is Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water by Limp Bizkit. Except, no, just kidding.
Choice.
Yeah, I hate this album. It sucks. Okay, my real number 5 is Seasons of the Abyss by Slayer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this CD freaking slays. Slayer's awesome. They're easily my top 5 favorite bands of all time. I've seen them in concert. They put on a hell of a show.
Actually, last time I saw them live was the best time I've seen them live, oddly enough.
Really?
They did Chemical Warfare, right? And the entire stage filled with like a fog, and they had these green lights coming from the floor, so the fog was like a green gas coming over the stage. Incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And when I saw them, of course, when they played Rain and Blood, they had actually had it raining blood. And they were all covered in blood. I don't know how they play like that. You think the guitars would get like all sticky and stuff, but hey, they do it and they friggin' kill it.
I can say I luckily got to see them when Henneman was still alive. So
me too. And before Dave Lombardo left,
I've seen them with Dave Lombardo, without Dave Lombardo, with Gary Holt, with Jeff Henneman. They're phenomenal every time.
I haven't seen them with Gary Holt yet, but I want to.
Incredible.
He's one of my favorite guitarists, of course, from Exodus.
Yeah, he's actually my favorite guitar player of all time.
He's a good replacement, for sure. But it'll never be the same without Hanneman.
Absolutely.
Rest in peace. But yeah, this is a great album. It's their 5th one. It's got such great tracks. War Ensemble, Blood Red, Spirit in Black, Dead Skin Mask, of course. That's a fun song to play on guitar. Skeletons of Society. That's a really good one.
Yeah, it's an incredible choice. And it really is like a pocket pick because people don't really think about Season of the Abyss that much when it is really a top tier album.
You always hear about Hell Awaits and Rain and Blood.
Mm-hmm. And it's an incredible album. I mean, it's front to back amazing. It has the fast songs with War Ensemble.
Yes.
It has the chuggers with Spirit in Black. It has the slower, creepier things with Dead Skin
Like the
Mask.
title track, too.
Season of the Abyss, the title track.
Yeah.
It has this weird, like, creepy vibe. The way it comes in, it's just insanely good album.
Slayer rules. I mean,
yeah.
My God.
Slayer is amazing.
Yes.
And that's
my favorite
why,
thrash metal band by far.
And that's why, oddly enough, my number 5 is also Slayer.
Oh, good.
But mine is Rain and Blood.
Yes.
Rain and Blood is nicknamed the Thrash Bible, and there's a reason for that. It's God tier.
It's the soundtrack to the apocalypse.
It's on a different level. Now, when it comes to Slayer's amazing discography, their first 5 albums are by far my favorite, and to pick a favorite of those 5 is really difficult for me to do.
Show no mercy for me. But this is my current one, as I said. These are my current top 10, not quite my top 10 of all time. But sorry, go ahead.
Right, no, not a problem at all. See, for me, I would have to say I probably like Hell Awaits the most of all of them. However, when it comes to influence, when it comes to everything surrounding it, Rain and Blood has to be my choice for my number 5 album. It is the Thrash Bible. Starts out with Angel of Death. I mean,
oh, God,
you don't really get much better than that. The scream, like Tom's scream at the beginning.
The high notes he used to hit.
The lyrics, like Gene Hoglan put it best. He said it's the most horrifying lyrical song ever written. And I mean, that's just the truth. It's terrifying. It's based on a real thing, and it's
the Nazis.
Insane.
What was the guy's name?
Yosef Mengeleev.
That's it, yeah. And they called him, nicknamed Angel of Death. And he did horrible things.
Yeah, he did experiments on conjoined twins. There's a lot of really messed up stuff, and it leads to an incredible song. So there's that.
Yeah.
But silver lining, I don't know. Anyways, album is amazing. It's aggressive front to back. There's not a bad song on it. If you could name one, you'd be wrong. It's amazing. I mean, especially like Altar of Sacrifice. It's the album front to back, and of course, the Raining Blood. Everyone knows that song. I mean, it's just
that's what most people think of when they think of Slayer.
Most people think of Raining Blood when they think of Slayer. For me, it's always been about just Angel of Death, and every song on the album. Raining Blood is actually probably my least favorite song on the album.
Mine too.
Enough.
Weirdly enough, yeah.
That being said, it's still like a perfect song.
Yeah,
that's how good the album is.
I've heard it so much.
Yeah.
I think the other songs are slightly better.
Yeah, exactly.
Raining Blood might be a little bit overrated. Yeah, but it's awesome.
Necrophobic is one of the fastest songs. Yes. Like Tom's vocals are just erratic and insane.
He really was the voice of hell back then.
100%.
Now he kind of just yells, but he still puts his all into it. Back then, he really had a friggin' awesome,
especially now with the live shows where he's hurt his back and have multiple surgeries and whatnot. It shows. The music live has not suffered though. If you see them live now, still incredible.
Yeah,
the
Kerry
stage
King
show is a
still
little less,
rocks.
but Gary Holt actually kind of picked up the slack when it comes to intensity on stage.
Oh, wow.
He's running around. He's grabbing his girl by the whammy bar and lifting it above his head. Like he's all over the place. So he's kind of picking up for the lack of movement with the older guys. But I mean, it's incredible. Everyone knows Rain and Blood. That's why it's my number 5 pick.
Very good choice. Yeah, their lyrics, preoccupied with Satanism and witchcraft and occultism. And then when Tom Araya started writing lyrics, you could tell he was inspired by serial killers and war. So, all of that. I think they all just contributed. And his Maid Slayer, what it is.
I mean,
this is all just
fucking Slayer.
Yeah, yeah, that's all you gotta say. Fucking Slayer.
there's a reason people have carved Slayer into their arm.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like their Slayer.
The inner. I think there's a picture of that in one of their inner artwork, like one of the booklets and one of the CDs. I can't remember which one it is. It might be Divine Intervention.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think the actual CD itself has a picture of that. I think it's Divine Intervention. I could be wrong.
Either way, our top 5 picks: Rain and Blood,
Both
Season
Slayer.
on the Abyss.
Yes.
Fantastic choices.
Hell yeah. Long live Slayer. And, for my number 4, definitely be Merciful Fate. And yes, Melissa and Don't Break the Oath are both better, but these are my current top 10. These are the ones I'm listening to the most at the moment. Not necessarily my all-time top 10, although that changes all the time anyway, so... But I think 9 was definitely a return to form. They went back to their roots. This is actually the last album Merciful Fate put out, the last studio album. But King Diamond's mostly preoccupied with his solo act, which is also awesome, of course.
It's also phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah,
King Diamond can do no wrong. Let's be realistic.
If Ozzy's
the guy's a god.
Yeah, if Ozzy's the Prince of Darkness, King Diamond's the King of Darkness. I mean, come on, King Diamond. There you go. But I think this is a return to form. I also really like In the Shadows and Dead Again. But this album just got so many great songs. Sold My Soul, House on the Hill, Burn in Hell. That's a fun song to play on guitar. I love that part. It's like, where is your Jesus now? That's gives me chills every time.
Oh, yeah.
The Grave, that paints a really vivid picture. King Diamond's a great storyteller. With his lyrics, they're very vivid and very visual. He should direct a horror movie. That's
100%.
what I think. Yeah, he'd be great.
I've always thought that. There's a video on YouTube of him telling the story of Puppet Master. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
That's actually my Puppet Master CD actually comes with a DVD that has that on it.
And it's incredible the way he tells it. He gets so into it. It's so intricate the way he explains.
The way he stares at the camera and he never blinks.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh man, he's just an awesome storyteller. You can definitely tell he was inspired by horror films. His lyrics are insane. His high-pitched falsettos. He's in my top 5 favorite vocalists of all time.
100%. He's one of, if not my favorite of all time. Yeah, he hits those high notes. And it'll come down to these really eerie lows.
Yeah.
Like he just has such a weird, incredible vocal range that really nobody else has even touched, just because it's so diverse and interesting. Not that it hasn't been vocalists who are on his level, because there are.
Yeah.
Thinking of like you said, Rob Halford, people like that. They're
Bruce
also
Dickinson, Jeff Tate.
Incredible singers when it comes to range, but none of them have that factor that King has. It's hard to pinpoint.
He's unique.
It's very interesting, very dark, and I love it. And then you got to speak to the guitar work as well.
Oh yeah,
incredible.
Hank Sherman and Michael Denner are incredible. I think it was actually Mike Weed that played second guitar on this album. He replaced Michael Denner. He was a good, they were a good duo as well. And then of course King Diamond's guitarist, Andy LaRoque. He's in my top 5. He's amazing. He also played with Death, of course, we mentioned in our last video. But some people can't get into King's vocals, and they say, oh, I can't get into Merciful Fate or King Diamond because of the vocals. But for me, Melissa and Don't Break the Oath would not be the same with a different singer at all.
100%.
Yeah, and then albums you call us like Abigail and Them and Conspiracy, it wouldn't feel right. King Diamond's really what made the band for me. In addition to the amazing guitar, the twin guitar attack.
And his vocals are just haunting. It really lends itself well to the horror stories he tells.
It's perfect. It fits like a glove. And he's always surrounded himself by great musicians. As I already mentioned, Andy LaRoque, Hank Sherman, Michael Denner, Mike Weed, also Charlie D'Angelo, Snowy Shaw, Mickey D from Motorhead. Yep. It's all, even Lars Ulrich played with him, briefly.
Incredible. I mean, it's
Return to the Vampire.
There's nothing more that can really be said.
Yeah.
King Diamond, Merciful Fate.
Both amazing. I can't decide between the two.
Yep.
It's too hard.
And there's no reason to.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you don't,
They're
and
both
we're lucky
amazing.
enough in this world, you don't have to.
Yeah,
Just follow it,
exactly.
whatever,
We got
it doesn't
both
matter.
of them.
Yep.
I do wish Merciful Fate would. I wish he'd reunite with Hank Sherman and release another album. I know Hank Sherman and Michael Denner actually have their own band now. I think it's just called Sherman/Denner. I don't know, but it's pretty good. You should check it out.
Yeah.
But I do wish that they would do something else with King Diamond someday. I'd love to see another Fate album. That would be excellent. 'Cause
Yeah.
9 definitely needs a follow up, and as I said, 9 is a great album. Check it out. Not as good as Melissa for Don't Break the Oath, but pretty damn close.
Oh, yeah. And for my number 4 pick, we're going to go with Bonded by Blood by Exodus.
Yes, good choice.
Exodus' debut album,
Great choice.
their only album with Paul Bailoff.
Mm-hmm.
Again, who we said before, his vocals weren't the best, but they fit.
They fit
and it
perfectly.
works incredibly.
Bang your head against the stage's metal takes its place.
He hits these. He hit these notes. Where in the middle of nowhere, I'm like, oh! Like, it's like, what the hell? All right, I'm with it.
Yeah, it was kind of sloppy and like all over the place, but it worked so well. It fit. Like, some people might look at it as amateur, but I think it was perfect for thrash. That's what thrash is all about, just letting loose and just unleashing your inner animal. That's what I think of when I think of
Absolutely.
thrash metal. And Paul Bailoff excelled at that.
And just going. Like, it's all about just getting from point A to point B very aggressively. And that's what this album does.
Yeah.
Every song on this album is a masterpiece. Every song on the album is, in my opinion, the most memorable songs in Exodus' library. They all are. You go from Bonded by Blood. You got Strike of the Beast.
The song Exodus.
Piranha. Exodus.
If Piranha doesn't kick you in the balls, then there's something wrong
Yeah,
with you.
then you're not a metalhead.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
that's
plain
where
and
that
simple,
lays
yeah.
right there. It's incredible. I mean, you have No Love. It's such a good album front to back.
I love Steve Souza, and I even thought Rob Dukes wasn't that bad. But I kind of do wish they'd done more with Paul Bailoff. I wish they did have some live albums with him. He did return briefly.
97 was it?
Yeah, but then he died in the car crash.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. And he was a crazy guy. I heard that he lived in the wilderness, like with a wolf as his companion. All kinds of crazy. I believe it.
He would apparently
He
he
was
would go to
insane.
shows with hedge clippers and cut the frills off of the glam metal guys' jackets
That's awesome.
because they were posers.
That's what thrash metal is all about. Thrash metal was about destroying glam metal.
About
hair
breaking
metal.
things
Yeah,
and
yeah.
being aggressive.
Yeah, he always talked about smashing windows and setting things on fire and stuff. He really was thrash.
And this album is the musical
It's a
equivalent
monument
of that.
to that.
That's
yeah.
what it is, and that's why it's my number 4 album.
I love the artwork as well.
Oh, yeah,
the Siamese
absolutely.
twins, like the evil one and the good one, like they're.
It's such an iconic cover. They're
Yeah.
splitting apart.
And I hate how they censor it a lot. Like there's a lot of releases that don't even have that.
It has
cover.
the
It's like,
weird
really?
red and black.
Yeah,
like,
with Exodus and yellow letter. What is that shit?
That's not the album
No,
cover.
not at all.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I think it was
fantastic art.
pointless to re-record that though.
Yeah.
Was it Let There Be Blood?
Let
with
There Be
Rob
Blood,
Dukes? I didn't
yeah.
think that was a good idea.
With Rob Dukes' vocals, they just didn't work.
They
the
didn't
same.
work with
And like the guitars obviously sounded better because they have better amps.
I think
and
the
whatnot.
only members to play on both albums are Gary Holt and Tom Hunting.
Tom Hunting. Yep.
Yeah, the drummer.
But that being said, there's no reason to re-record it. It's
No,
just one of those
definitely
things. Unnecessary. The album was flawless. I listened to it front to back.
And they had Rick
all the
Hunnell back then too. I really miss him. Lee Altus is good too, but I really like when they had Hunnell.
See, I love Lee Altus. I love his other band, Heathen.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, I mean,
definitely.
him being in Exodus 2 is just icing on the cake. It's fantastic stuff. But
Yeah, oh
that,
yeah.
that being said, Bonded by Blood, perfect album. I listen to it weekly.
Flawless.
If not more than that, it's
And that's actually
amazing.
my favorite Exodus album as well. I know I said Temple of the Damned, but again, these are only my current top 10 albums. If I did all time, it'd be too hard. I couldn't do it.
Absolutely.
I tried. I
Oh,
failed.
yeah, man.
Well, now we're getting to the top 3 territory.
This is where it gets into the old
And you guys-
gritty.
Exactly. You guys already know my top 3 favorite bands are, the Holy Trinity, and my top 3 favorite albums are a reflection of that. And so my top 3, of course, is Power Slave by Iron Maiden. And I know
Oh, yeah.
everybody on the planet's going to say Number of the Beast is better, but I know I'm in the minority. Number of the Beast is actually my least favorite album of their first 7. Bite me, I know. It's a good album. It's a great album. Hallowed Be Thy Name. I mean, that's a flawless track. But I think that the Killers, Peace of Mind, Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, Seven Son of Seven Son were all slightly better. It could be because Number of the Beast is my first album I heard by them, and I listened to it way too much.
You burn it out.
That could have been it. But it's a great album. I'm not knocking
And
it.
it's
by
like
any means.
it's like we talked about before recording this video. That's something that's beautiful about metal is there's something for everyone, and everybody
Exactly.
can have their own independent opinions aside from everybody else's. So Power Slave, phenomenal album.
It is, and I love ancient Egyptian stuff. I think it's fascinating. I love reading about it. I love watching movies about it. I love hearing music about it. The title track, Power Slave, is actually my favorite. I love the opening Egyptian music, and then it goes right to that awesome heavy chugging riff. It's just awesome. Then, of course, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight. There's not a bad track on this album. My only complaint is it's too short. There's only 8 tracks. I would have liked a lot more.
Yeah, but I think to make up for that, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner was like a year and a half
True,
long.
yeah.
So...
it's a very long song. But yeah, I think Bruce Dickinson's vocals were at their best on this album.
Yeah, I could agree.
It was their second album with drummer Nico McBrain. I'm pretty sure he joined on Peace of Mind after Clive Burr left.
He's such an incredible musician.
Phenomenal drummer. Clive Burr was good too, but I prefer Nico.
Nico has this... He just has that, like, classic style,
It's
like almost like a classic rock meets jazz kind of vibe, and it just works.
It fits
so
so well. And oh gosh, their melodic solos, they're awesome riffs. They're always creative. Even like on their slightly lesser albums that weren't as good, there's still some gems to be found. And Iron Maiden, I don't need to explain why they're amazing. I mean, come on, they're friggin' Maiden.
Something I've always adored about Maiden. Maiden is a band that has 1,000 riffs, and none of them are the same.
Exactly.
It's impressive, and it blows my mind.
You can tell they inspired so many of today's metal bands.
Absolutely.
And of course they have Eddie too, so
can't get wrong with Eddie.
Yeah, they're the best mascot ever.
And so even like their newer stuff, like Book of Souls, that was a fantastic album.
And,
I mean, they're still killing
Final
it.
Frontier was good. Matter of Life and Death was good.
They're Maiden. I mean, there's just you genuinely cannot go wrong with Iron Maiden. They're an incredible band.
Unless Blaze Bailey's singing for them. He was okay.
Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, I even like their stuff with Paul Di'Anno.
Yeah, Paul
I'm a huge fan of their first 2 albums.
Iron Maiden,
I think they're underrated,
fantastic.
and I don't think anybody else could have worked on back when they had that early kind of raw, more aggressive, more punk influenced sound.
I would agree.
Di'Anno was perfect, but of course, Dickinson's operatic, soaring, high-pitched vocals were a much better fit, and definitely pushed them forward a lot. Di'Anno might have limited them a little bit, but he was competent in his own right.
Dickinson is just a god. I mean, he's just so full of energy and life. It's amazing. He's like, his voice, it soars
so
above. Like, that interview that Sam Dunn did with him, where he's talking about how when he plays live, he wants to pinpoint the guy in the back of the room, and I pointed him, and the guy would be like, me? Like, yeah, you. Like, that's what his voice does.
To make himself bigger. He wants to be as big as possible.
It's incredible. It's that very operatic style that only he genuinely has. Like, a lot of people do it and do it well. None of them do it.
And a lot of people burn out, like Jeff Tate. Like, he can't hit those highs as well as he could. Dickinson could still do it. He still got the pipes. And in the '90s, he had kind of a raspiness to his voice. I think still fit on albums like No Prayer for the Dying and Fear of the Dark. I think it was still good. Then he came back and it was better than ever. I think so too. It's underrated.
For sure. And that artwork is incredible.
I love it. That Eddie is a tree. Yep. But Bruce Dickinson is my third favorite vocalist for good reason. Next to Halford and Dio.
Absolutely.
But Iron Maiden's my third favorite band, and Power Slave, right now at least, is my third favorite.
Killer choice. And for my top 3, we're gonna hop into the darker side of things. We're going to get a little bit evil in this one with
Can't go wrong with that.
With Storm of the Light's Bane by Dice.
Yes!
This album is perfect. Legitimately perfect. When it came to my top 3 albums, it was a toss-up. Which one goes first, which one goes second, which one goes third. It doesn't matter. They're all perfect albums in my opinion, and this is the start of these perfect albums. This album from front to back is the most evil thing I've ever heard. It starts out, and it's just so ambient and mood setting, and it just cracks right into this aggressive, melodic, chock full of riff, beautiful, melodic black metal album. It's terrifying. It's beautiful. It's everything you could ever want, and things you didn't even know you wanted in a metal album.
Yeah, John Notvite was a god.
Genuinely, dude was incredible. I mean, and the song Where Dead Angels Lie is the most perfect example of that.
Check that song out after you watch this.
It goes from these haunting evil parts to this insane clean part, back into this really evil thing, and the lyrics are just on this whole other level. Literally about this angel dying in the snow. It's brutal. It's amazing. You have like my other favorite song on the album is "Thorns of Crimson Death."
Yes.
One of the heaviest, most intense melodic songs. I just can't say enough. Everything I say is going to sound the same. Check this album out. I promise you will not regret if you haven't heard it before.
Love Dissection.
They're
the
incredible.
Somberland's really good too.
Yeah, the Somberland's incredible. Starts out with Black Horizons, which might be the catchiest song they've ever written, because the chorus is just the way the chorus is laid out and the lyrics within that. It's just incredible. It just gets stuck in your head. But when it comes to my favorite album, it has to be Storm the Light's Bane. It's incredible. The artwork is insane.
Yes.
With like the Reaper looking
Kind of reminds me of King
horse
Diamond's
that's not-
Abigail a little bit.
Yes, it's
more black and
yeah,
metal.
it's very similar. It's incredible stuff.
Christian Whalen drew the artwork, by the way.
Yes, and
He's
it's
awesome.
fantastic artwork. It complements the perfect album, perfect artwork, perfect production. Everything on the album's perfect. That's all I can say. If you haven't listened
Dissection
to it,
rule.
check it out. Dissection is incredible.
John Malphite was great. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
He took his own life. But,
In the Name of Satan, which is probably the most black metal thing you can
yeah,
do.
easy. Yeah, close to what Dead from Mayhem did as well.
Yeah. The old "Please excuse the blood" note.
Yeah, good lord. But
Good stuff.
I'm among the few that prefers Swedish black metal over Norwegian. I know I'm in the minority of that, but yeah, Dissection's no exception. They're just friggin' amazing. Definitely check them out if you haven't already.
Oh yeah, Dissection, man.
Hell yeah! So that was your third.
Absolutely. On to the top two.
All right, top two. As you guys know, my second favorite band of all time features my number one favorite vocalist, Rob Halford. That's Judas Priest. And my current favorite Priest album is Stained Class.
My actual favorite album by them as well.
Oh, good. I also really like Sad Wings of Destiny. That's probably my all-time favorite. But this is the one I've been currently listening to a lot. You got Exciter, White Heat, Red Hot, Better By You, Better Than Me, which is a cover of a Spooky Tooth song. The title track, of course, Savage, Beyond the Realms of Death. There's a reason why they're known as the metal gods. And Rob Halford is my favorite singer for good reason. He hits those high notes flawlessly. He's just incredible. And then, of course, don't even get me started on the twin guitar attack of K.K. Downing and Glenn Tipton.
It's aggressive, but at the same time beautiful. It's a fantastic thing to do. It's
perfect.
It's got this classic rock kind of bluesy vibe with the metal. It's incredible stuff. In my opinion, this is their most metal of albums.
Easily.
It's
British Steel
fantastic.
comes close.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, Priest rule. And they're still good now. I like their current albums, and
Well,
they're
actually,
my second favorite band.
one of my favorite albums by them behind this was actually Defenders of the Faith.
Yes, another good one.
The song "The Sentinel" blows my mind every time.
Yes.
So
It
good.
never gets old.
Yeah, it's Priest rules. I mean,
Yeah, oh, God, yeah. I don't even think I need to explain why.
yeah, Priest. That's it.
Yeah, Priest.
That's enough.
There's
of a
my
reason.
explanation, yeah.
So for my second album, it's gonna be something that maybe a lot of you haven't heard of, but if you have, you will know why I love them so much. And it is the album "Tortured Existence" by Demolition Hammer.
Oh, good choice.
Again, such a toss-up in my top three. This easily could have been number one. It's incredible. Front to back, it is pure aggression.
They're a great thrash band.
They are.
Underrated.
The vocals, incredibly underrated. The vocals are just a perfect fit. They're very aggressive, very raspy, very to the point. That's what this album is. It's very to the point. You have incredibly heavy songs like Gelid Remains. Yes. You have very fast songs like Infectious Hospital Waste and 44 Caliber Brain Surgery. I mean, 44 Caliber Brain Surgery, I mean, that kind of embodies what the album is. It is this aggressive, in-your-face thrash album that's just a different level of heaviness. It's probably the heaviest thrash album I've ever heard in my life.
It just grabs you by the balls with the opening track, and it never lets go through the whole album. It just never lets go.
100%. And the artwork with the guy's face like melting, his hands are up.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like,
so
when you see that cover, you know what you're in for.
Exactly. And it delivers.
It doesn't let go. If you know what this is, you love it. If you don't know what this is, you will love it. It's amazing. So good front to back. Every song is a killer. There's not a bad track on there. You have a song like Neanderthal, where it's literally about a caveman fighting like mammoths and stuff like that. And then you'll have again, Infectious Hospital Waste.
What's more metal than that?
Exactly. You have like Infectious Hospital Waste, which is about like medical stuff and things like that. I mean, it hits every point. It's amazing. Such a heavy, unrelenting album, so underrated, and I can't stress enough. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Do yourself the favor.
For sure. Yeah, Tortured Existence is my favorite Demolition Hammer album as well.
It's a very, very, very close with Epidemic of Violence. Like the song Human Dissection, where you have like this brutal pummeling double bass the entire song. It's
Slays.
insane. I mean, Demolition Hammer is amazing. And then after their drummer died of actually eating bad puffer fish, oddly
really?
enough, yeah. They got a different drummer and they released Time Bomb, which is still a good album, but it's more groove metal. It doesn't quite have the same grip the other ones have. It does have
a lot of thrash metal bands like went to the groove metal.
Yeah, they either went like
especially
groove,
when Pantera was popular,
like groove or
90s.
industrial. Like you have Creator who went all industrial and weird in the 90s.
Like Anthrax did that too.
Yeah, but then like Time Bomb's still a good album. Honestly, it is. It's still a good album. If you're into groove metal, check it out. Killer album. But for me, nothing can touch Tortured Existence. It's it's something else. It's something you have to listen to. Yeah, it's incredible. I highly recommend it. Check it out. Demolition Hammer.
Damn right. Well, you want to do some honorable mentions before we go on number one?
I definitely need some. Because for me, this top 10 was very difficult to make.
It's very difficult for me too, even though it's my current one.
Absolutely. As we said, we're doing top 10, not repeating any bands.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of things I wanted to throw in here. Like, oh man, I can't leave this band out. Yeah. Oh man, I can't leave this band out. For instance,
it's really hard to do.
Obituary.
Yes.
Like, it's very hard
slowly
to leave Cause of Death out.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
like Frozen in Time.
Absolutely. At the same time, we had to kind of pummel down and make a top 10.
It was hard. It was hard. It was really hard.
So let's get to your honorable mentions. What do you got for us?
Well, I like the second Storm of the Light's Bane by Dissection. Definitely Them by King Diamond. It's a close one with Abigail. As I already said, the other Merciful Fate albums, Metallica's first two, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning.
Such crazy good albums.
Symphonies of Sickness by Carcass.
Yep.
Tomb of the Mutilated by Cannibal Corpse. Legion by Deicide. God, that's a big favorite of mine. I've always playing
Once Upon the Cross.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite album by Deicide. It's just incredible.
The Dark by Metal Church.
I love that album.
Yeah.
Oh man.
New Order by Testament.
It hits you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
That was the cheesiest joke of all time. But no, like honestly, my honorable mentions are almost the exact same as yours. You hit like all the points. Cannibal Corpse with Tomb of the Mutilated. Symphony of Sickness and Necroticism by Carcass. Something that I missed out on that you actually had on your list was Creator. I had Coma of Souls waiting in and out of my top 10 over and over. Just
great one.
I love Creator. Love Coma of Souls. Incredible. Something else you touched on, King Diamond, Merciful Fate. They were in and out the entire time. Fantastic. I love the King. I mean, not much you can say about that we haven't said already. Absolutely. Like when it comes to that kind of stuff, I had those in there. Also was tossing around some more death metal things like Left Hand Path by Entombed.
Yes.
I love that album.
Good too.
Absolutely. One of them that actually was in my top 5 and didn't make it. In my top 5 was The Spectral Sorrows by Edge of Sanity.
Oh, nice.
If you haven't heard that album, it's one dude, a solo Swedish death metal band, and it is incredible. There's a song there called The Mask, Masque. Check it out. Amazing. They do a Manowar cover of Blood of My Enemies, and it's like, it's insane. It's so good. Check that album out. I mean, those were all things that were in and out of my top 10, but then when I nailed it down, it just didn't make it.
Yeah, I had Euthanasia by Megadeth.
Yeah, such a good album.
Barely didn't make it. That might just be like my 11. Also, Transylvanian Hunger by Dark Throne.
Absolutely.
Blizzard Beasts by Immortal. Lots of black metal stuff.
Absolutely.
I love black metal, but I prefer traditional heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal, or
Nawabum.
Yeah. And thrash and death, just a little more. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to our number one.
Number one picks.
And my number one, my favorite band of all time, the ones who invented heavy metal, Black Sabbath. And it's a close one between Paranoid and Master Reality, but I think Sabotage is the one I'm listening to the most right now. It starts so good with Hole in the Sky, and then the groovy little Don't Start Too Late. I think just Tony Iommi playing guitar. Cool little melody
Such a
there,
killer
which goes
album,
right
man.
to Symptom of the Universe, which might be their heaviest song they've ever done.
That is by far the most aggressive Sabbath song
Easily.
ever.
And, of course, Megalomania, which just sounds like a raving lunatic in an insane asylum, just, breaking out into some some awesome song. I love when Ozzy's like, "Sting me!" and it goes into the awesome solo. Thrill of It All, Superstar, Am I Going Insane? The Writ, that's a really creepy, ominous track. Black Sabbath's my favorite band for great reason. And I've mentioned several times before that Ronnie James Dio is my second favorite vocalist next to Rob Halford. And Ozzy wouldn't even really crack my top 20. However,
Understandable.
his eerie vocals fit Sabbath perfectly. And nobody else would have sounded this, any other singer, it wouldn't have fit. It wouldn't have sounded right. And when they got Dio, they basically became a different band. They were more, it was a little more powerful stuff. But with Ozzy, they were definitely very gloomy, doom metal essentially.
Absolutely. I mean, but a lot of doom bands really base their sound on early Black Sabbath.
Yeah, Pentagram, Candlemass,
absolutely.
Electric Wizard. But yeah, Tony Iommi, I mean, come on, he's the riff master, and in my opinion, he's the godfather of heavy metal.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on, he's awesome riffs. Yeah, and then there's Bill Ward and Geezer Butler making up the rhythm section. They're just, oh my god, they're friggin' Sabbath. I've seen them in concert. They put on a great show.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't got to see them yet. I would love to before they stop. I think they're on their final tour now.
Yeah, they are.
So I need to get on that.
Yeah, time. Yeah.
But no, I mean, Sabbath is incredible. Like you said, I agree with every point you hit. When it comes to Ozzy, I wouldn't say he could ever be one of my top favorite singers because it's just not a possibility. But with his voice, it is Sabbath. It works. It's what makes it really sets them over the top with Tony Iommi's riffs.
His voice is like witches gathering in a coven and slave girls being taken before the altar, and like a bunch of Satanists about to perform some witchcraft.
All in a voice.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah,
incredible.
Dio's voice is more powerful, and he was able to do a lot more. He was technically more at a wider range, and he's awesome. He's one of my heroes. But Ozzy, he's definitely a huge part of what made early Sabbath so great.
Yeah, and when speaking on Dio, I fucking love Dio.
Oh,
I mean, such an incredible person.
Yeah, he was very intelligent.
Not just a musician, but watching his interviews. Is just
love listening to him talk.
Man. And
he was amazing.
Something that he kind of stressed that I really like to stress is a camaraderie in metal.
Yes,
sticking together, having a big community
instead of hating each other and fighting and.
Let's all be
elitist
one.
Crap. Yeah, let's all. Yeah.
And Dio kind of was that. He was such a intelligent and caring seeming person, and it was fantastic stuff. But when it came to him and Sabbath, the incredible albums like Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules,
yes, Dehumanizer,
I mean, absolutely, and they were incredible. But like you said, it felt like a different band.
Yeah.
But not a bad band. Still
great band.
Another amazing band.
I wish he did more with them, actually.
Absolutely. And I mean, they were just killer. Sabotage actually would be my top pick as well. Either that or Master of Reality. But I think Sabotage would take the edge just because the aggression.
Heaven and Hell was another one I wanted to include. But I wanted to do one album per band. So
yeah, Heaven and Hell definitely.
Yes.
Great. That would probably be my favorite Sabbath album of all time. Actually.
Good choice.
However, when I think of Sabbath, I want to stick on the Ozzy side when it comes to something like this.
I really like Tony Martin as well. He had a powerful voice. Yeah. He's a good. All right, what's your number one?
For my number one, and if you know me, this will be
drum roll, please.
No surprise. My number one pick is Leprosy by Death.
Yes, I knew it was going to be a Death album. Hell yeah!
So Death is my favorite band of all time.
Oh god, yeah.
Chuck Schuldiner is my favorite musician of all time. Yes. Everything he did was perfect.
Amen.
All of their albums were perfect. You could literally pick any of them from the beginning at Scream Bloody Gore to
Sound of Perseverance.
Sound of Perseverance to
underrated album, by the way.
Every one of them
hate on it, but I
incredible.
Like it.
You could have picked any of those for a top 10 list, and they all would have fit. Like if I would have did the top 10 without putting in the stipulation of not repeating bands, 7 of them would have been Death.
Yeah.
So that's why we put that rule in there because that's what would happen. Leprosy takes the cake for me. It is the most perfect metal album ever written, in my opinion.
A perfect successor to Scream Bloody Gore.
100%.
Since their debut.
And Scream Bloody Gore was also a perfect album.
Yes.
And this just
a little more
felt like an evolution into like this mold that just became this incredible, incredible death metal album. It's untouched. No album before, no album after it, in my opinion. It is the greatest album front to back.
I can see that.
from the artwork drawn by Ed Repka, right? I believe. I don't know.
So.
Could be wrong about that. Who knows? But the artwork is incredible. The songs are incredible. It delivers. I can say nothing wrong about this album. Forgotten Past, Open Casket, Leprosy, Pull the Plug. I mean, it's just front to back a killer.
Bodies deformed way beyond belief.
It picks you up and doesn't let you down.
Exactly.
And then by the time the album ends, you're just like, wow, that just happened. It will blow your mind. Some of the screams he hits, like in Left to Die, it sounds like he's being murdered. Like,
it sounds like he's going to vomit on the mic.
Yeah. Insane.
It sounds like he's possessed.
Like in Left to Die, there's literally a part where it sounds like he's being stabbed to death. It's insane.
That's a good thing when it comes to death metal.
And that's a good thing. It's
rest in peace.
Amazing. Yeah,
he's a god.
He was the godfather of death metal.
Easily.
He was, in my mind, the god of metal. Up there with Lemmy, Dio, Rob Halford, things like that. I would put Schuldner up there with them.
But easily.
Easily. I mean, he was a phenomenal musician, a phenomenal person on top of that. His views on the world were second to none.
He was really down to earth. He was really a nice, likable guy, which is, kind of surprising considering the music.
Considering he's the godfather of death metal?
Yeah.
And he was like the most chill, relaxed guy you'll ever meet. I mean, everything they did from Scream Bloody Gore. From Scream Bloody Gore, Leprosy. I mean, you have like spiritual healing, human individual thought patterns.
All greatness.
Oh man, Symbolic.
And even other Symbolic. Even other bands that he jammed with.
Control Denied.
He used to be in Mantis, before. Yeah, Control Denied. They finally released that.
Yep.
That was amazing.
Fantastic.
That blew my mind like I knew it would.
He had that one song he wrote, and I forgot who did the vocals on it. It was called Hardly a Day Goes By.
Yes. Hardly a Day Goes By.
Oh, man.
That was my favorite song for a while.
Yeah, it's insane. The solo he delivers on that song.
It's phenomenal.
Unreal. But for me, it has to be Leprosy being their best album.
I agree.
It's
my favorite Death album as well.
It's so hard to even describe. You have to listen to it.
It's so influential. It's right up there with Seven Churches by Possessed, Deicide self-titled. And it's just definitely one of the best death metal albums of all time. It really, that's what death metal is. That's what death metal should be. It's a perfect
absolutely.
example.
And I mean, there's so many bands out there that have just taken from what they've done and kind of compounded on it because it's just so incredible. I mean, it's amazing stuff. The guitars are incredible. The drums are incredible. As you mentioned, Chuck Schuldner did the bass as well on the album.
Terry Butler's credited, but I'm pretty sure it was actually Schuldner that played. It was Bill Andrews on drums, I believe, right?
Yes.
Took it over for Chris Refair, who went on to form Autopsy, another great death metal.
Absolutely. Autopsy is incredible, too.
Their albums would be an honorable mention as well.
And then you have Rick Rawls on guitar, who was also in Massacre, another incredible death metal band.
Cam Lee and all them.
I mean, and then Cam Lee came from Mantis.
Alan West from Obituary.
It's insane the amount of amazing early death metal that came from Death. It's just incredible.
All like a network almost.
Down from that Florida area. Oddly enough, death metal started in Florida.
Yeah. My favorite death metal comes from Florida.
Yeah.
Just like my favorite black metal comes from Sweden.
Absolutely.
And Norway.
And I mean, there's not much else I can say. Leprosy by Death, perfect album.
Give it a listen and you'll see what we mean.
Absolutely. And
it's a good thing we decided to make this video two-parter, otherwise it'd be about an hour long. But when I talk about metal, I tend to never shut up, and I can literally talk all day about these bands and these albums. They're all amazing. Check them out if you haven't already. Everything we highly recommend every album we mentioned.
Absolutely. Every album we mentioned are, in our stand, like we said, are the best albums.
Exactly.
Check them out. They're incredible. You will like them. And, I mean, there's not much else I can say about that.
All right, guys. Well,
I guess this concludes the old top 10 list.
Yeah, we're reaching the 40-minute mark, so tune in next time. We're going to try to do a video every Wednesday. And I hope you enjoy our video. Hope you remain on board for the rest of our show. We're going to have a lot more metal discussions. We have a lot to talk about.
Hell yeah. A lot to talk about. Metal's a discussion I can have 24/7.
Same here. Yeah.
And let's keep metal united, guys.
Yes.
Every subgenre. Let's make a community out of this.
Yeah, let's not fight everybody and be elitist.
Absolutely. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
All right, guys. Keep it metal.